It's really important that dogs take treats nicely during training, otherwise they can bite your hand or they can get over-aroused by the treat delivery, and then that can kind of interfere with the training that you're doing. So I'm going to show you how to teach your dog to take treats nicely, and then you're going to do these sessions on taking treats nicely separately from your training, and until your dog can take treats nicely, you can deliver the treat in a way that your dog isn't going to bite your hand. So the first step is choosing a time when your dog is a little bit sleepy and relaxed, and you can see that Wish here is not in a very excitable mood. It's the perfect time to work on it, because when she is excited, her mouth has started to get hard when I give her the treats. So I suggest when you train this exercise that you cut the treats a little bit bigger and you use treats that aren't messy. So if you're holding a treat and little crumbs are falling off, if your dog does bite, they're going to get little bits of crumbs and get reinforced for taking the treat hard. So I've got some string cheese that I've cut up in pretty big pieces. Usually I don't use such big pieces. Some hot dog, some turkey hot dog, and some kibble. Now, if you have a dog that is extremely excited by food, you can do something that my friend Sean Davies does, which is use a treat that the dog doesn't really even like. So by giving the dog a piece of carrot and they take it like, I don't really like this that much, then they get reinforced by the treat they really wanted. So that's a great technique for starting. Other great techniques are working on some impulse control and calmness first. So I'm going to link in this tutorial Capturing Calmness, where you feed your dog for settling and not thinking about the food. So when your dog is relaxed and calm and not thinking about the food, so right now I don't know if Wish is still thinking about the food, but it looks like she's noticed something out the window, I can say, yep, and then mark her by feeding her between her paws. So that's a really great first step to teaching a dog to be calm around food, which will help to make their mouth less hard when taking the treat, because it can also have to do with the dog's arousal level. Game 1. So this game is, I'm going to go and I'm going to put the treat down between her paws, and I actually haven't played this with her, so let me just line her up better so you can see. So I'm going to go and I'm going to put the treat down between her paws, but if she touches my hand to get it, I'm not going to let it go. I'm just going to move it back. If she waits for my hand to put it down, then I'm going to release it and move my hand back calmly. It's really important that you don't move fast during these exercises to calm your dog down around treats. You're going to move slowly, and if the dog goes for your hand, you're just going to move backwards, not in like a ha ha ha, you suck kind of way, but in a just, oh, I'm not going to give it to you if you're going to take it excitedly. Good job. So I have my hand down on the ground, and then I'm going to release it and let her eat it. It helps to put it under the dog's chin so that they don't have to lunge forwards to get the treat. Good job. Awesome. You could add eye contact where you wait for the dog to look at you. Wish. Hi. Now with some hot dog. If your dog is successful with the low value treats, you can start using higher value treats. Good job, Wish. If you notice your dog gets very excited, you can always take a break and wait till your dog has relaxed to begin the training again. Good job. Game 2. So the next game is moving your hand very slowly towards your dog, and then as it gets there, releasing the treat if you only feel the dog's lips and tongue or very soft teeth. Good job. And it's important, as Kay Lawrence actually mentions, that you get the treat to your dog's face rather than hold it out so that they have to snag it. Once your dog is successful with the low value treat, then you can start using higher value treats. This is cheese here. can also practice doing things like a exciting treat delivery. So I'm going to throw the cheese. That's going to make her more likely to want to take the treat hard out of my hand. Good job. Also practice in different positions. So standing up and giving the dog a treat. Awesome. While the dog's in front of you, at the different sides. She thinks she's supposed to do something. Good job. Go between. Oh, you want to do cup, cup? Okay, then. Good girl. Great. Good job. Game 3. So another technique for dogs that take treats extremely hard is teaching the dog to lick the treat out of your hand. So when you feel the tongue licking, you release the treat into their mouth. Just a licking tongue. Then you can put it on a cue. Once the behavior is reliable, that the dog is licking the treat out of your hand, then you can add the cue, lick, tug, lick. Good job. Tug, lick. Yes. So you say lick and they don't lick, then they don't get the treat. It can take some time to train this. As you saw, Tug isn't reliably licking the treat into his mouth. Sometimes he tries to take it. Good job. When your dog is reliably licking the treat out of your hand 5 times in a row, I would suggest adding the cue, lick, before you present the treat. Lick. Good. Lick. Yes. Let's see what that looks like in slow motion. Adding the marker. The next step, once your dog is taking treats softly, is incorporating the clicker. If you plan to click and then feed your dog a treat with your hand, I suggest that you do this exercise. All you're doing is you're thinking about what position you want your dog to be in while you're training when you haven't given your dog any information yet. So I don't mind standing, laying down, or sitting, but I definitely do mind shuffling the feet or offering strange behaviors in between. So I'm going to practice seeing if she's taking the treat softly before I click. So she is. So next step I'm going to click and then move to feed her a treat. And she did it very nicely. She's not moving around. She looks great. Another thing you could do is if you want your dog to stare at your eyes instead of the treats, you could wait and see if your dog would look at your eyes before you click and treat. Awesome. Great. I'm going to practice with her sitting and also standing. Awesome. So if she does take the treat hard, I'm just not going to let go because we're not really training anything important. We're just working on how she takes the treat. Good job. Great. I'm also using the low value treats now that I'm using the clicker because the clicker does make her excited. Now I'm going to practice with her standing up. So she's taking the treats a little harder in the standing position than she was in the laying down position. So I'm going to wait till her mouth is soft before I start clicking. There, she almost got the treat for taking it hard. There you go. Good job. I'm also still using the slow treat delivery to set her up for success. So this time, I'm going to see if she might look at me before I click. Good job. Good girl. You can also practice with your marker words like, yes. Good. Good girl. Wish. Good. Wish. Yes. said yes, I saw her pupils dilate. Awesome. What to do in training sessions if your dog takes treats hard. So while you're training your dog to have a soft mouth, during training sessions where you're training other behaviors, you can either feed your dog in a number of ways. One successful way for some dogs is feeding like a horse, where you put the treat on your hand and bring it under the dog's chin, and then the dog usually eats it quite nicely. There are some dogs that scrape your hand or just slam their face into your hand to get the treat. So then for those dogs, I wouldn't suggest using the feeding like a horse method. That works really well for Tug. Another method is putting the treat down on the ground and releasing it. And if the dog goes for your hand, obviously you don't give the treat until the dog doesn't touch your hand. There's also tossing the treat, but what can happen, is it can make the dog very excited. But if you're training freestyle, for example, and you want your dog to be very excited, no big deal. Legs, get it, woo, jump through, woohoo, good boy, sit, both paws, awesome. Good job. Tug really likes to chase the treats, but as you can imagine, when he goes to take the treat out of my hand after chasing treats, I know that his mouth is going to be pretty hard because he's very excited about chasing and killing. So if I'm going to go feeding him from my hand, I can predict that he's probably going to take it hard. So I could just give him a treat in my hand without asking for a behavior before it to see if he would take the treat hard. Or I could just simply feed him like this, or continue throwing treats and wait till he's calm to work on his treat delivery game. So with all my dogs, it's now time for me to brush up their manners and work on the way that they take treats nicely, because I haven't done it in a while and behaviors start to degrade.